Do you have the winning mindset? Do you know what it takes to go to the next level? Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Join us every week for the Winning Mindset Podcast.
Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Winning Mindset. Today, we have Mr. Deuce Malone, one of the other great authors in the Winning Mindset. And he is here today. I want to say so much, but I'm going to contain it and I'm going to turn it over to the host, my other good host, Miss Christian Davis. Welcome, Mr. Deuce Malone. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me. Pleasure to be here.
We are super excited to have you. Thanks for taking out some time to chat with us. So we'll start with the basics. Tell us a little bit about you, your background, and some of your many accomplishments.
Yeah, thank you. So Deuce Malone, 20-year music industry vet, also extensive sales career in multiple facets of selling, whether it's music or even IT products, and also just an advocate for mental health, those struggling with depression and suicide prevention and survivors. Those are a couple of things about me. As far as accomplishments, my career spans from retail music to working in FM radio to working alongside record labels and even festival management. So done a lot of different facets, led a lot of different teams. I've managed $1 billion in revenue or a sales team. You name it, it's just something I aspire to do is to lead people, make an impact on those around me. So that's what kind of transitioned me into getting into writing, putting books and content out there to help those on their journey, wherever that journey might be, whether it is music or trying to get deeper into sales and sell your product. So that's what I aim to do now and to continue to make great music with my partner, Troy Noka.
All right. Yeah.
Awesome. And you touched on it a little bit that you're an advocate of, especially for mental health, which, is, of course, very, very personal and important to me as a therapist. Can you talk a little bit more about where that comes from, that advocacy piece that you talked about?
A lot of it comes from personal struggles and personal impact. I personally have had two friends tragically take their own lives. In addition to just having friends struggle on their own, people that have had attempts, myself struggling with, why am I here and fighting through depression. So it's something that I've had to overcome, just at different points in my life. It's what driven me. By the grace of God, I'm still here and continuing to keep a positive mindset and to keep pushing. So I want to impart some of that onto others and be there as a support person as well, especially for young Black men, because I think in the Black community, mental health is not talked about enough. There aren't enough advocates. There aren't enough conversations being had, especially Black men, to single them out. Like, for example, divorcees. I'm a divorced male, and divorced men are 20% more likely to actually make an attempt than men who are not divorced, which is sad. So to be in a support space for people who don't have that voice, something that really encouraged me to just step out there and talk about my struggles, how I've overcome them, and then just let people know, like, hey, I'm here if you just need a shoulder to cry on, somebody to talk to. Let's make it happen. So you put all that together with the music, because you got in the music industry, you got a lot of alpha people too. Same with sales, people who don't want to have those conversations. They don't want to appear soft. So I'd rather be that person that stands out, raises their hand. Like, I've been there. Let's grow together and get better.
That is so important. And I'm glad that you put yourself out there, because you're 100% right. The statistics show that our Black men specifically are not getting mental health assistance of any sort. And it's not that they don't have mental health issues, because I see it all the time, but it's just, not diagnosed. They're not going to reach out. They're not going to go get extra help. They're not going to take care of the mental, because it's not emphasized in our communities. And the way that we speak to our young men just doesn't really encourage them doing that. And then when it blows up and you see people completing suicide, because we see young women attempt a lot, but the men actually succeed, which is, huge. We see that stat, and the only thing that really helps it is when you see other Black men saying, no, we can talk about this. We can work on this. We don't have to just, bottle it up. So
Yeah, 100%. It's a conversation that needs to happen more. People like Charlamagne the God, he's a big person that takes a stance on mental health. There's another brother down here in Austin, Kevin Overton Hadnot. He just wrote a book. It's called Heal to Lead. And it's a 21-day journal for Black men to just kind of journal their thoughts and get on their path to healing. So I feel like we're getting there. People are definitely having more voices, but there's still more that need to be had, more conversations around it.
oh yeah, the work is nonstop. We get fatigued a lot, I think, all of us. Even all of us on this podcast right now we've touched mental health, and you get so tired, and you get burnt out as practitioners and advocates. But that's why we need more people, because we do get tired, but we need other people who can come behind us and kind of carry that until we're, rejuvenated and we can get back in there, because we have to take care of ourselves too.
Yeah, and that's what's so beautiful about music, because music can change your mood at any time. That's one of the driving pieces of when I am down and about, I'll go right back to the music. And so it's kind of like my therapy. It was my therapy that I didn't know about for the majority of my life until I became an adult and really realized why I'm so drawn to music, because it's universal language. It can unite people who may be at odds or maybe have different viewpoints. They can rally around a song or an experience they had with a certain artist and their music. And for someone struggling, snap them out of a depressive moment and just have them get some clarity. And it's also the person making the song could be also channeling their struggle. And so that person can know, like, oh, I can relate to what this person's thinking about because I've been there too. So music is such a big part of my life. And, it transcends everything, whether age, sex, whatever. Music is there for everybody.
I agree. And for folks listening, if you never ever talk to a therapist or an advocate or anyone, anything that lifts your mood, music specifically, because that's one of mine too, anything that you can do to boost your mood or help you feel those kind of positive feelings, that's taking care of yourself mentally. So I absolutely agree. Music is huge, and it's one of my favorite things to help with any type of just negativity. Music does really transcend. I agree.
Totally.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So we're going to shift a little bit. What is the winning mindset to you? You wrote a chapter in the book and contributed and talked about, personally how you perceive the winning mindset. What does that look like for you?
The winning mindset to me really is the willingness to go to extreme lengths to achieve your goal. And what I mean by that is nowadays, I feel like certain generations or certain groups of people feel like they're going to work a little bit and then they expect a lot without really working. There's a bit of entitlement there. They think like, oh, I've been here a year, I deserve to be CEO now. I've been here 6 months, I need a promotion, I need a raise, and et cetera, right? And that's truly not a winning mindset at all, for multiple reasons. I'll explain. The further you get in life, you need more experience, and that's going to include challenges. If you go somewhere for a minimal amount of time, you have minimal exposure to different facets of whatever your goal is, you're not going to truly understand what it takes to be a winner, because you haven't overcome all the challenges. The challenges never stop, but the key is they're going to get stronger and bigger each time. How do you react to those? How do you keep pushing in the face of adversity? For me, myself, I say I've learned the most through all the setbacks I've had. I actually cherish the losses because I grew more from those than the constant wins. You always learn from where you not failed, but where you learned. What did you learn on this thing where you didn't hit your goal? And then you add something to your tool bag, you keep going, and keep persevering. So it's a mental shift along with a physical grind. What can you find through adversity to make you continue to push forward? So that's the winning mindset to me. It's letting nothing getting in your way, whether you've got some physical challenges, some things you don't know, so you need to maybe study up more to increase in your field. Whatever it is like understanding whatever it takes, I'm going to get there. In my chapter, I talk about working for free a lot. I think I worked for free, I would say half my career, or for minimal pay. Sometimes it was paid, but it wasn't a lot. And I gained more there because you get the sweat equity of you're putting in and that you start to learn the ropes around whatever it is, then you can go out on your own and branch out and make the money for yourself. So willing to do whatever at all costs. And sometimes that's no pay. Sometimes that's losing sleep, getting 3 hours of sleep because you stayed out all night to get an interview with Ice Cube. I did that one time. So it's doing things that other people aren't going to do. They're going to separate you from the pack. And those above you are going to see that. Like, oh, yeah, I saw so-and-so grinding. I saw them out there doing this. I saw them coming in on the weekends where they didn't have to. That was at one point in my career when I was in radio. I was just starting out, so I was making minimum wage, putting up stickers. Not a great job in radio at all. And they ended up giving me a weekend shift. And then the morning show guy got let go. So they wanted me to fill in the morning. So I went from filling in the mornings at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday until they hired the new person, but then also still doing my weekend shifts and also still driving the truck around to put stickers. That's a lot going on there throughout the day for minimal pay. But in the long term, it paid off because when they hired the morning person, they kept me on. So I became the morning show producer. And then that put me in the mix to ultimately get my own night show about 6 months later. But still, it's a grind. You know, people see that and then they know they can depend on you, and you're building that mental toughness to where like, hey, there's an end goal here. I'm soaking up all this game though, because all of that exposed me to different parts of the organization. Also, I got to see, oh, this is what the programming side does. This is what the morning show does. Oh, this is what they do on the weekends. Oh, this is how you set up for an event, and this is what that role is. Oh, when they come in, they do it. So by the time it was time for me to hit the stage per se, I was prepared. So that's the winning mindset to me. You know, just that struggle, the grind, what you learn from it, and never stop.
That's a big deal, especially, you know, for the industry that you are mainly associated with. We see a lot of folks, especially younger folks, that say, okay, I'm going to be in music, and they're waiting on that moment. And you just pretty much said it. You have to still get in there and grind, even if you're the most talented person ever. You have to do the work and stick out, because there's a lot of talented people, but you have to be that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing even in the sales industry. I work with sales professionals, and you get new people that are coming in sales, and they think I should just jump into an account set and then start selling and making six figures plus just because I'm good at what I do. It's like, well, what have you done really? Not to mention, if somebody just hands you something, you don't get the gratification of working for it and earning it also. And also, the person on the other end isn't really trusting you. Like, you just carbon and copy put in place with something. Well, if you grind it out with someone, you have a different connection with that individual. Same with the music. You know, I had an artist tell me one time when I first got into management of artists, he said I shouldn't have to sell my own CDs. That just kind of told you how old I am. At the time we were selling CDs, and he felt like he shouldn't have to sell his own CD. And I'm thinking, well, who else is going to sell your CD?
Right.
Who else are those fans going to come back and be like, I remember when so-and-so gave me a CD on 6th Street and now they're a big star, right? Like, that's how you build your story. You can put that in any organization, whether it be sales, where you get that new customer and you start by just selling them paper or toner or whatever, and then they let you in and start letting you sell bigger products like their servers or whatever, right? Like, it's that slow grind. Like, you get to make some mistakes and learn from them before you get to that big level, right? So it's just a lot of that, man. Just building up, slow grind, and enjoying the process while you're building and growing. Because then when it gets to the bigger part, it's really easier for you because you already got a method in place to keep going.
Yeah, talk a little bit about enjoying the process, because that's where personally, I see people just get really frustrated when they're trying to accomplish something. They're trying to have that winning mindset, but they're just kind of bogged down in that process, and they haven't shifted that mindset to enjoy it. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, like it's hard when you're in it, right? Like, because the ultimate goal for most people is that you want to get to the money, whatever your goal is, whatever success looks like to you, whether it be money or buying a car or buying a house, like that's your infinite goal. So when you're starting out and it's pennies coming in or nothing, it can be tough and rocky. You're like, oh, what am I gonna do? But what I love about it is because it's just the hunt. It's like, okay, what did I learn today? It's like building a house brick by brick, right? So it's like your day one, it's gonna be a lot of struggle, but mess up as much as you can so you can learn from it. So to me, it's just enjoying that process, learning from somebody else, and just the at bat. it gives me an adrenaline rush. I always say there's a certain kind of person that is going to be used to that. I mean, it's not going to be for everybody, but when you're going through the process, starting out, just learn to relish it, because two things. It's never going to be like this again if you get to that success. Because when you get to a successful part of your career, more than likely you're going to have people under you, and you're going to be removed from those opening conversations, the start of an account, the start of a music making process, the start of a label negotiation. You're going to be over here, so you're not going to be in those conversations, seeing that little foundational team, right? So you relish that part of like seeing like, man, this is the beginning of everything. This is how it starts off. I know in 2 years or 5 years, we're going to be at X point, but this is the beginning. And remember this moment, because this is where you have the most freedom. The freedom to mess up, the freedom to change things, the freedom to be more fluid, come and go as you please to a degree. All that's right there. And you never get those moments again. So I always say enjoy it. You're never going to have this time back. That's the second part, is time. You know, time is one thing we can't get back. So enjoy that time. Enjoy that building time. Make it and break it as many times until you're happy with it, and then just move on from it and learn and keep going. But yeah, the beginning of the process, it's a wonderful time. I look back at times in radio. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today without everything that happened in radio. So that was the start of it. And it's a crazy time in my 20s where you're just kind of figuring out, you don't have many responsibilities. You're just doing the thing you love, right? But then you look at it over time, I was making connections. I was networking slowly and just doing things I knew, like, hey, ultimately, I want to end up with my own label or working directly with an artist, which is what I pretty much do now. But all that was the building block. And I can go back and think about those meetings when I first met folks like Chico or first met Madi. And these people are VPs of record labels now. You know, you go back and just remember, oh yeah, we came up together. Now this person's over here, and just the process. It's the fun part. If you don't have fun with what you're doing, you find something else. Because that's the thing. You have to enjoy whatever your grind is, and that makes it more meaningful and impactful for you.
Thank you for saying that, because we see a lot of folks that are saying, oh, I'm going to go do this career or that career, because they say they see the money and they want the quick reward of it. But if you don't actually like it, then you're not going to enjoy your time developing your craft or developing your business or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So you're right. If you're not liking it when you're in the middle of it, then it may be time to rethink.
Yeah, it can't be about the money. Like, I'll tell you that right now. Like, this is going to sound weird, but the money gets old after a while. And what I mean by that is this. You experience enough with money, right? I mean, first of all, you can't drive all the cars at one time. You can't lay in all the beds and all the rooms of your house at one time. You really can't. You can only, well, you can wear as many watches as you want, I guess, but they all tell you the same time. So after a while, that gets old. It's got to mean something more to you. Like, what impact are you bringing? Why did you get into it? Like, for me, my why is to help people musically, let them escape. Even with the writing, right? I'm working on a sci-fi book as well. That's part of escapism for me, helping people get through their day. The money is whatever. Of course, I'm saying we all want to be comfortable. Yes, that's important. But if you're in it strictly for the money, that's going to get old and you're going to get burnt out and probably fall off, more than likely. But if it means something to you, you're going to be excited to get out of bed every morning and get to the grind. It's like, that's the important part. So if there's something you want to do and it's strictly for the money, great. But you got to have a passion project on the side too. Because that one is strictly for the money, it's going to die off really quick.
Good advice. That's true. Ms. Nisi, did you have anything you wanted to ask or add?
Well, I just want to say that he just dropped a whole lot of nuggets here, and I understand now when it says success means sacrifice. But I've had an opportunity to meet this humble man. And one of the things that I did was I read all of the chapters in the Winning Mindset, and I don't know, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He talks about his dream. This was just a dream for him. So he has a shirt on that says Dreamville. But one of the things that I really admired in his book is, I think it was when he said a little bit about you wasted drink on somebody, and you didn't panic about the drink, but you didn't know who you wasted drink on until later on it was award winning. Now I think he's a artist, Troy, I think it was, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Wasted drink, and you having a passion for what you're doing right now. And like you said, if it's all about the money, you're going to eventually fall off. So you wake up every day with a passion. And that's why the shirt fits such a humble man. So you drop so many things here because you got to have something that brings you out into the world. But one of the other things that I love about Deuce, and I've been really waiting on this interview, is how you are so open and transparent about being an advocate for mental health. That's dear to me because, of course, I have a son that's struggling. And then you talking about another book, and I want to get that information later about me and journaling things down because I'm talking to my son about that. So you got to journal these things down because if not, you can go into the world, and sometimes the world is too big for people who are struggling with mental health. And then you having the passion to help people. It ain't all about the money for you, but they would have to meet you to know that. And that's why success comes to you, because it's not about the money. So I just want to drop that in a little bit. So I've been waiting on this interview. I really have, but you have to know him in person. This is a humble man that has so many opportunities. That's just really, because you do it for a passion, that ran after you. They just landed in your lap. You dropped a drink on somebody, and it meant Grammy award winning artists. So, and then doing other great things to help people, being an advocate for mental health, which is dear to me. So that's all I want to say. And I'm going to say a light boom, then a boom, because that's a boom.
I tell you, and that's the best spilled drink I ever had in my life. That was Troy Noka, the partner I work with right now. He made me president of his label. He's a Grammy Award winning producer and worked with Chris Brown and the Backstreet Boys and Sierra and Tyrese, you name it. Was Grammy nominated last year because he works with Doja Cat now, and he and we work together. Like we have a call later today because he drops music. Well, I should say we, because I'm on the label. We drop music. I mean, every month we're dropping a project. But yeah, and that kind of goes back to like the grind, right? Like most people, you spill a drink with somebody, accident happens, you might get into an argument or whatever. My issue was, oh man, I'm sorry about that. Let me get you another drink. And that, me just buying another drink and us having a conversation, led to, at this point, 15 plus year friendship. We consider each other brothers, and then a working relationship. So it's just small things like that, even about your journey. Like that's one about the process. I didn't want to be in that club that night. Like I was DJing. I didn't really. I was like after a while, you do something. I was like, man, I don't really want to be in this club tonight. Like this Saturday night, I was like, oh, I could be somewhere else right now. But this was just the working part of the job. And then you meet somebody who you know nothing about, and it becomes your lifelong friend. And here you are we went to the Grammys last year. We'll be at the Grammys next month. So this is one of those things, man. Divine intervention, but also just your work ethic and that mentality of like, it's bigger than me.
Passion.
Let's just have a conversation. Let's be humans for a second.
Yeah, passion. Well, you speak about that. I don't want to give too much about your chapter, but they would have to read your book to have an understanding about who you are and having a passion. But there's life in your eyes as you speak about your passion. So I don't know if anybody's paying attention, but I do want to speak on that for people to pay attention, how your eyes light up and how they move as you speak about your passion that makes you comfortable in life and get you out of the bed. So that's something very important as well. So that says a lot, because I'm looking at the life, I'm looking at the passion. That's all I got, Christian.
That's all we need, isn't it? You always bring the point home, but I just want to say I'm taking that to heart, because there are so many times where there have been opportunities and I just didn't want to. I was tired. I didn't want to go. And you never know when it's going to be that time where something really big happens. And the way my anxiety is set up, if I spilled a drink on somebody, I probably would have just ran to the bathroom. So even getting through that, saying, no, let me finagle this and make it work for me. That's admirable, because I probably would have been in the bathroom crying about how I ruined everything. And that's a good story, because we can still make something work even if we mess up or it's considered a fail, even though it's not. Like you said, it's learning. And I like the rephrasing
Yeah.
and how you kind of thought on your toes.
Yeah, yeah. And I always want people to leave something, with as much of a good spirit as they can. Because that was like my club night per se. I'm the DJ, so I'm on the flyer. And you never want somebody to leave something. It's once again being humble. Just buying that man another drink, like out of my own pocket. It's like, man, I could have just said, "Oh, sorry," and moved on. Like you said, I went and hid somewhere, but like, nah, just let me just take that one small step, this one more piece of customer service that I didn't need to do. Going above and beyond the winning mindset, right? And making sure every single event, every single moment someone has with you, that interaction is memorable. Treating that person like family and not just like a customer. You know.
Exactly. And you've mentioned some things already because you have a lot going on, but this is your chance to tell us any specific things or events that you have coming up or any projects you're working on that you want everyone to know about.
Yeah, so it's a lot. You can go to my website, theworldofdeuce.com, sign up for my newsletter, and I can send all the information out weekly. If you're a musician, definitely sign up, or if you know somebody that's a musician, because I extend my tips on the newsletter. So I give tips every day I try to do them every day, definitely multiple times a week on social media. I give artists tips on what they can do to further their business. I'm finishing my book, which will be a crash course on basically all of that stuff. But all this, go to my website, you get everything. And my website and all my social media is all the same. It's all The World of Deuce, whether it be TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same. But yeah, that's the best place to catch me. I'm also working on a sci-fi book right now, which is a passion project for me. I don't know when I'm going to be finished with it, but it's going to be pretty awesome. If you're in the Austin area, I want to travel to the Austin area. April 1st, we have the music festival that I work on. It's called the Urban Cultural Fest. It's going to be an amazing one-day show full of R&B artists. We got Zapp coming, and Life Jennings, and Cassette Michelle, and Stokely, and Adina Howard, and a lot of people coming down there. So we're getting early into 2023. We got a lot going on, a lot of good stuff. So and I'm here to always help. If you're an artist and you need some help consulting, I'm here for that too. So just hit me up.
Did you say Adina Howard's coming too?
Yeah. Adina Howard, Changing Faces, Miss LA, trying to not miss nobody. Life Jennings, Stokely, Zapp, Arrested Development.
Ooh.
Miss Lisa, you might need to get some tickets. Come on. Because my mind's already turning like, okay. When am I?
Yeah, I'm old school. So when I heard Adina Howard, I wanted to meet her at one time because she was fly and she was beautiful. She had moves. And you said, Adina, I'm like, I heard her in 20 years or more. So yeah, that's nice. That's what's, yeah.
We'll definitely be following up.
We try to expose the old and the new. Yeah, like the history of the festival is like giving classic artists, but then also some of the newer folks as well. It's giving you that bridge of where music is. Like here's a pioneering artist, and here's somebody a little bit newer. So that's what we focus on.
I love that. I'm definitely going to try to go myself. Just me being selfish and trying to take tickets away from the general public, but I'm gonna try to find some tickets too. I will follow up on that. That sounds so exciting, along with everything else. So we just want to take another moment to just thank you for taking time out to meet with us and impart some wisdom. It's been awesome. You have such a great life perspective, and I really think that that's so helpful to all the viewers, and we just appreciate you.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate y'all giving me the time and let me be here and share some things. And I definitely hope y'all continue y'all podcast because it's great to listen to it, and y'all really doing a good service for the community out there. So thank y'all.
Well, thank you. All right, and that will do it. Miss Nisi, do you want to take us out?
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to this great episode of The Winning Mindset. Continue to stay tuned to The Winning Mindset.